Resist easy answers. That's my advice to you today. Andrew Faris here from 4x400. I lead the side of CTC's business, if you didn't know, where we build and grow our own brands, our own products. We've got 3 brands right now. And I've got another dispatch from 4x400 for you. Something that I am seeing recently, a little lesson I kind of picked up, and it can be summarized really, really simply, like I said in the intro: resist easy solutions. Resist easy answers. Here's one of the most common little mental errors. It's sort of informally a logical fallacy. I'm going to drop some Latin on them right now, Corey. It's this: post hoc ergo propter hoc. Post hoc ergo propter hoc. All my friends out there who are West Wing fans may remember this from, I think, the very first episode of the West Wing. But post hoc ergo propter hoc is Latin for after this, therefore because of this. It's the idea that because you do one thing and then something else happens immediately thereafter, the first thing caused the second thing. And that, of course, is very often not true. There's an old joke that is not funny, but my grandpa used to tell it, that a guy stood out on a corner and waved his arms all around, and somebody asked him why, and he said, well, it's because I'm keeping the elephants away. And the guy responded and said, hey, there's no elephants within hundreds of miles of here. What are you doing? And he said, see, it's working. And so like I said, not funny. Don't hold me to that. It's my grandpa. But the idea is really simple, right? We have that's an extreme example, but we have this kind of thing we do where we think we make a change and then necessarily what happens next is the result of that change. And I want to show you why I think that's not true. Actually, last time I was on on our content at CTC, talking about something. I was talking about a big win we had where we raised the prices for Slick Products, our off-road wash brand. And what I told you there was that it was a huge victory for us, and it was. It went really well. We added a whole bunch of margin. That business is a lot healthier still because of those prices. We have not decreased them since we first did that. But something happened right away. Well, right away what happened was on our ad account, things kept going great for a couple weeks. There was actually very little change. We converted more traffic, or we converted about the same amount of traffic, maybe a little dip, but we had an AOV boost, and so it kind of evened itself out. And ultimately, it looked like we're going to kind of keep on going at about the same growth and revenue pace, maybe even picked up a little bit, but just at way more margin. So we put more money in our pocket at the end of the day, which was a total win for us. But then a couple weeks later, something happened, which is our ad account started tailing off some. Part of it, I think, was because we were trying to scale spend a little bit. And if you know anything about digital marketing at this point and Facebook ads, you know that spending more money often leads to lower ROAS. And so that's just kind of a fight you're constantly working on as a marketer. But we started kind of going through all of these solutions to the problem. And the immediate obvious thing to think was the price increase was giving us the margin we wanted. That was inarguable, but it was slowing down our growth and hurting our overall efficiency on platform. Basically, that we would be losing too much conversion for it to be worth doing. And so that was it was just so, because we raised the price enough for it to be significant to the customer, it was just sort of the obvious answer. And so we started digging. And this is to me, one of the most important things you can do as an advertiser, as a marketer, just in your business in general, is when there is a problem that comes up, the first answer is not to say what the solution is. The first answer is to understand the problem. Understand it as deeply as you possibly can. So if you've been around us, again, for any length of time, you've seen our equation. Visitors times conversion rate times average order value equals revenue. If revenue is going down, if return on ad spend is going down, there's only 3 factors. Clicks, how much you pay for them in the case of Facebook ads, conversion rate, how many of those people are buying, and AOV, how much you're spending, right? And so if price increase was causing a decrease in ROAS, what you would expect to see is that conversion rate was going way down. Again, I talked about this last time. But so I started digging. And as I looked, it looked to me like that actually wasn't happening at all. I worked with a team member of mine who pulled data related to all kinds of things. He pulled data related to the CPMs. Were we actually paying more for the ad space? He pulled CTR. Were we getting less clicks on our ads? He pulled conversion rate off of our ads, which you have to calculate as a column when you're working with Facebook ads. He can same thing with AOV. We looked at all of these different elements of it, and we dug and dug and dug. While in the back of our minds, we knew maybe it's just a price adjustment problem, and we need to go back and try and find some margin a different way. So we kept digging, and here's the answer we came to. For whatever reason, people were clicking on our ads less. So our CPM was flat. We were paying the same amount for the ad space, but our CTR was going down, which meant that despite that, Our conversion rate had dipped a little, but AOV had gone way higher. So basically the increase in AOV was way outpacing the decrease in conversion rate. So that looked like a net win on the pricing side, right? At the same time, or within the same range of time that happened, we were getting lower click-through rate despite paying the same amount for the ad space. That was driving up our click cost. And while you know, again, if you know us, that we don't take CPC that seriously, it still indicated something was wrong. Why are people clicking on our ads less all of a sudden? They were the same ads we were running before. Why are they clicking on them less? Well, the answer, it seemed to us, was they were the same ads we were running before. In fact, we'd been running those ads for a long time. And so we went back and said, we think the problem is creative. We got together, generated a whole bunch of new ads, as often the problem is creative, generated a whole bunch of new ads. And when we came back around, first couple rounds still couldn't solve the problem. More and more, it got easier and easier to think maybe it's a price problem, maybe it's a price problem. And then finally, a new ad launched. And what we found was suddenly a giant increase in ROAS. We solved the CTR problem and actually got some more conversion off of this particular ad. And things started to turn around in a really, really big way. As we've analyzed the results, they've held for across more and more dollars spent. We're putting the ad in more and more campaigns. And now it looks to me like we're gonna have the best ad performance at the most scale that we've had in about a year, which is a really, really big win for us, seeing revenue go in a really big place. Now, here's the thing I wanna point out. It actually may still be in our best interest to change the price back a certain way, try and find some margin some other ways. Every solution is always on the table. But what I want to urge you to do is resist the post hoc ergo propter hoc fallacy. Resist the idea that just because you did this over here, this thing happened immediately. It might have been causal. That relationship might have caused that, but it very well might not have. And what I see a lot of times is the laziest analysis assumes that that is what happened, and instead to dig in deep, understand your core metrics as well as you can, especially if you're running Facebook ads at any scale. You're probably spending lots and lots of your total budget of your business on this. Learn it, get it deeply, understand it really well. So when something goes wrong, you can analyze the problem. Most problems that are hard because they're hard. If it was simple, it would be simple, right? I mean, that's sort of obvious, and obviously I'm saying it as sort of a truism, but it really is oftentimes a little bit trickier than it looks, and the easy solution will lead you in the wrong direction. If you do all the analysis and the solution is easy, great. But do the analysis first, resist easy solutions.